second video, continuation of the first one, just to make it a little bit shorter. On the last video, we copied segments and we copied angles, and now we're going to do adding segments and adding and subtracting angles. So if you just watched the last video, we did this page, copying angles and segments. And now we're just going to construct the sum of a segment and the difference of a segment. So the first one asks you to construct AD plus CD. Still pretty straightforward. You just take your compass and you open it to the width of AB, and then move your compass and mark off the length AB down here. And remember to use a fine point as much as possible. So that's where I'm going to put B prime, and that's my A prime. And just like you might guess, doing the sum, I just have to now do the sum, I just need to figure out the opening, the width of CD. So I'm going to flip my compass around, move this out of the way, close it up, get a nice thin line, try to be a little more accurate. And might not just cooperate quite perfectly, but I think that'll get it. There we go. So that's CD, so I'm going to put my pin here and make an arc. And so this is the length of CD. So one way to indicate that you are finished is you can sometimes use brackets. A lot of people prefer that. And then another option would just be a highlighter. So you might see somebody highlight their solution. Just like that. It's a little slow for me to get the highlighter with the smartboard, but it is a nice way to do it for people reading your paper, the final answer. So the problem below is similar, AB minus CD. So the only difference is you start the same. You open up your compass to AB, and mark off that length. And then you mark off the length of CD, and I'm going to use this here because I already figured it out, and that way I don't have to move the paper back and forth for you to see. And remember, every time you create an intersection point, you're going to use it. So now I'm going to put my compass on that intersection point. But instead of going that way, that was a mistake, sorry, I'm going to subtract it. So I'm just going to go to the left. So this is this distance I'm taking off. So now my highlighter, make it a little thinner. This distance here, oh, that didn't happen to be thinner. That's my final answer right there. AB, take away CD. So going back to the beginning, now we have done adding and subtracting of segments, and this is the last thing we're going to do. So now we're going to add and subtract angles. So in order to add and subtract angles, you have to copy angle A, because it's asking you to add A plus B. So I'm going to pause and grab my compass from the other. Here's my compass. So again, to copy an angle, you have to start at the vertex and make a nice big arc. If you make your arc really close to the vertex, it's not going to be as accurate as if you make it farther away. And when you're copying angles, it's really handy to use the same arc. So you want to use the same arc on both angles. So that could be your first step. And then you take your compass and you mark off that arc nice and big. And I hope this fits. We'll see. So now I'm going to measure the opening of this angle. We'll see how accurate that is. You get a little closer. See if that's any better. That's a little better. So remember, if this is point X, this down here would be like X prime. So since my pin is on X right now, I'm going to put it on X prime. And then copy angle A. So I would just take a straight edge tool. You guys would use the straight edge tool. I'm going to just use a light colored line to speed the process up. And that's angle A. And now I'm going to use this part of the arc and measure B. So I need to know what the opening is. So I have to go over here. And figure that out. So let's see, that's too big. Let's see how that is. Pretty good. So if this were Y, whoops, right here, this right here would be Y prime, because that's where I'm going to start adding angle B on. So I put my compass here, and then that's my new intersection point. So I take my line tool and try to keep my lines reasonably thin. And then pick up my highlighter and this is angle A plus B. And then if you had to subtract angle B, you would just go inward instead of outward. And that's it.